political level, and Aqua and the whole Shram.
Yes.
And as I affirmed at a political level, and Aqua and the whole Shram.
Yes.
And as I affirmed to Prime.
All right, it's getting frankly ridiculous at this point. I mean, more and more people see it. I mean, Sleepy Joe is there living up to his name, doing his best to stay awake during a visit from the Israeli president. Now, obviously, this isn't the first time we've seen Sleepy Joe live up to his name. He was caught dozing off relatively recently at a climate conference that he, of course, attended with his 30-plus SUVs driving as part of his entourage. The optics of that were matched only by the falling asleep during what he called the most important conference of our lifetime. And, of course, who could forget this? I mean, seriously, how many world leaders do you see falling over all the time? I mean, it makes no sense. Or how about this one?
All right. God save the Queen, man.
It wasn't just that it was a bizarre sign-off. I mean, God save the Queen, man. It wasn't just that. He didn't know where to go afterwards. He was confused. I mean, what other world leader is doing this? And the legacy media is recognizing it. And they're actually getting upset that they have to constantly run cover for this obvious cognitive decline.
They also managed a schedule very carefully.
Yeah, I think his staff needs to own his age. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think they do a good job helping out the president. And I'm not talking about it like, I'm just saying if you are managing a president's schedule and you are managing a president getting on stage and getting off stage and getting on planes and getting off plane, and yes, he's 80. You need to be there for him, and you need to make a pathway. And you sure as hell better make sure he doesn't fall on a sandbag. And I blame the staff for that. I mean, these are the things that are going to hurt him. These are things that are going to be played on a loop. Okay? Let him do his job. Let him do his speeches. Let him work on policy. Let him do his connections in Congress, unlike any president that we've seen, I don't know, since Clinton. But my God, make sure, your Secret Service, you're his staff, that you were there and you're telling him what's next. And it's not because, don't take this as, oh, he can't even get from one place to another. When you're busy and you're on stage, and we've been on stage, right. I've done speeches, and I'm so nervous. I'm doing the speech. I'm trying to get it right. And when it's done, I don't know which way to go. And I'm looking for direction. So do a better job. Because you can't have these video images of the president tripping or the president going the wrong way. It's not going to work in this presidency because his age is going to be a factor. His age is going to be a factor, and it's your job to make sure he gets from one place to another. He can handle the presidency. You have to handle his schedule and where he goes.
Well, and the scheduling.
It makes me mad.
The scheduling is so important. You have, with every president, you have different strengths, you have different weaknesses. If
yeah, they're so patently absurd. I mean, talk about a strained and forced argument. I mean, that was grasping at straws. You could tell that even Mika there, she didn't believe half of what she was saying. You could tell. And no one else does either. Not to mention the media's ridiculous hypocrisy in all this. They love to point out anytime Trump stumbles or has a hard time standing up from his chair, which is rare. But they're always, oh, look, Trump is so old. Look, everyone saw it. Ha, 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 ha. I mean, they're like petulant children at this point. It's beyond ridiculous. But that absurdity that's daily on display from the legacy media is really nothing more than a pathetic attempt at a cover-up. And that cover-up is a brewing civil war within the Democrat Party. Wait until you see this. But first, you all know of a very new and serious threat coming from woke corporations. It's called debanking, where woke banks are increasingly closing the accounts of patriots all around the globe. And one of the most important areas of protest where patriots are deliberately taking their money out of these woke banks is in the massive buying spree going on currently with gold and silver. We saw this right after the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, where more and more investors began moving their money back to the timeless value of gold. And we've got amazing friends to this channel who can help you do just that. We've partnered with the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, who've helped patriots across the nation move over $1 billion into gold and silver. You heard that right. They're absolutely amazing. Click on that link below. And for those with retirement accounts, the patriots over at Goldco are offering up to $10,000 in free silver when opening up a qualified IRA account. And for cash buyers, you're going to love this, gang. You can get bonus silver just for making a purchase. So if you buy $15,000 worth of precious metals, you're going to get $750 in bonus silver. If you buy $25,000, you're going to get $1,200 worth of bonus silver. But that's only as long as supplies last. So don't wait. Click on that link below. This is your opportunity to protect yourself from woke banks and guard your assets with the timeless value of gold and silver. Click on that link below right now. Many Democrat insiders are purportedly concerned about a very possible health scare that could force the Democratic leadership into hastily finding a replacement for Sleepy Joe, especially considering Cackle's Kamala's obvious unpopularity. Again, this is something even the legacy media is getting involved in. You might remember several months back when the Washington Post came out with a piece that featured what they called the big top 10 list of potential Democrat presidential candidates for 2024. And the reason they ran that piece is they cited a poll conducted by YouGov that found that only 21% of Democrats or Democrat-leaning voters wanted Joe Biden to be the Democrat nominee in 2024. 21%. That's 8 out of 10 Democrats are basically done with bumbling Biden. They want nothing to do with him. And so then the New York Times, they followed suit, but they were a bit more discreet. They tried unsuccessfully to make the argument that Democrats were solidly behind Biden, but they needed a plan B just in case. And there's no consensus on that yet. We're solidly behind Biden, but we obviously need a plan B, given the fact that the guy keeps falling down everywhere. But note what the lack of consensus about a plan B admits. It admits that the standard plan B, namely the vice president, is off the table because she's an abject disaster. And the Hill admitted as much when they ran a headline that said explicitly Kamala Harris is officially no longer plan B. She's political poison. And so the Democrats are up a creek here. It's becoming increasingly clear that the knives are coming out for old Sleepy Joe, but not just for him, for Kamala as well. And that's why more and more pundits are recognizing a civil war brewing here. Here's Josh Kroshar, editor-in-chief for the Jewish Insider, on the mess the Democrats are in.
Be different. This would be unique. And when would Biden have to make this decision if the Democrats are actually going to be able to get somebody ready to run, if it's not him, somebody on the ballot and ready to go?
Well, that's what really is worrying a lot of Democrats, because time is running out. So if there was something unanticipated, if Biden had a health scare at some point in the next few months, that would not give Democrats a whole lot of time to prepare and figure out who would be the successor. And Dana, I think if Biden decided to step aside and you had all the other candidates, whether it's Vice President Harris or Governor Newsom in California, Governor Whitmer, it would be a mess. I mean, it would be a real civil war of a primary. And that's, I think, what is keeping Democrats aligned with President Biden, because they know that age is a problem.
They're in a fix of their own.
So there you have it. A real civil war is brewing inside the Democrat Party. All as the legacy media tries to convince you there's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Joe, he's great. Nothing to see here. But the Republicans, for their part, are seizing on this. The former White House doctor and now Republican Congressman Ronnie Jackson, he's demanding that Sleepy Joe take a cognitive exam before the 2024 election. PJ Media is raising concerns about Biden's health, and they're calling for transparency regarding his neurological and cognitive condition. They're openly calling out the legacy media for, at best, ignoring or not challenging the narrative surrounding Biden's health, and at worst, covering it up. and that this is really serious because, at the very least, I mean, it's projecting American weakness on the world stage, which in turn undermines our national security. And all the polls show that there ain't fooling nobody. A recent NPR poll found that 62% of the public was concerned about the state of Biden's cognitive health. An NBC poll recently found that it was more like 68%, 7 in 10, that were very concerned about his cognitive and physical health. So it's going to be very, very interesting, to say the least, to see how things play out here in the coming months as Biden continues to degenerate. An all-out civil war inside the Democrat Party just might be at hand. Are you ready to join the resistance? Because I'm leading a group of dedicated, courageous patriots who can lead a spearhead into the heart of the secular globalist establishment. We punished Bud Light and Target, driven CNN and the legacy media to near bankruptcy, forced BlackRock to backtrack on ESG, and now we're seeing our conservative-dominated Supreme Court ending affirmative action and protecting religious liberty. In my Insiders Club, I show you concrete steps to take locally and online that will only keep this mass uprising going until the battle is won. Don't wait. Click the link in my description below and join my Courageous Patriots Insiders Club today.